What's up, guys? Marcus from Rare Candy today, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Decidueye GX Vileplume deck. I know this has been covered, but I'm testing for League Cups that are coming up pretty soon. Like all week this week, I've just been testing out different deck ideas, and I figured I'd go over, a deck that you can probably expect at your upcoming League Cups this weekend. And this one is Decidueye Vileplume. So, I guess we'll just go ahead and get right into the Pokemon. First up, we got Lugia EX, 170 HP, Arrow Ball, 20 damage times the number of energy attached to both active Pokemon. So, if they've got a lot of energy stacked up on something, you can swing for a good bit of damage. Sometimes you can even just drop a DCE and then already start swinging for a lot just because of what they've got on them. And then Deep Hurricane, 4 colorless energy, 80 plus if there's any stadium card in play. This does 70 more damage, then discard that stadium. So another good attack. It can take a stadium off the board that may be disrupting you, like Parallel City, anything like that. Maybe something that's buffing them, like Reverse Valley. So definitely a good attack, not only for taking the stadiums out of the out of play, but also doing 150 damage plus a Feather Arrow from a Decidueye makes it 170. If you have a few set up, you can just keep swinging for even more. So definitely a good attacker in this deck. Resistant to fighting, weak to lightning. So if you're ever playing against fighting, definitely a good attacker and whatnot. And then we've got 3 Shaman EX. Really quick, just set up, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. You play 3 just because you want to get turn 1, a really good setup with Decidueyes and Vileplumes. Then we have Tauros GX. It has 3 attacks, all for a double colorless energy. Rage, 20 plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon. Horn attack, 60 damage for double colorless. And then Mad Bull GX, 30 damage times the number of damage counters on this Pokemon. Now, I never usually find myself using Mad Bull GX too often, but there are some games where I do, whenever I kind of have a decent setup, don't really need to get anything back with Hollow Hunt, and you can just swing for big damage with the Tauros, then why not? So definitely another good versatile attacker. He is weak to fighting, but there's not a ton of fighting out right now. Lycanroc has been seeing some play and stuff like that, but yeah, definitely a great other attacker for this deck. Really, he's just splashable in a lot of different decks just because 2 colorless, even if you're not playing double colorless energy, it's just 2 attachments. So really good attacker just in general. Then we play a 2/2/2 Vileplume line. Vileplume, I'm sure everyone already knows, irritating pollen. Each player can't play any item cards from his or her hand, and Vileplume honestly can just steal games sometimes. Like, you can have like an okay-ish setup, but if you have like a Vileplume in play, and especially if you get one turn 1 and your opponent just is not getting anything at all set up, because they can't play their item cards, you usually just you can be pinging a couple damage counters with some Decidueyes, only swinging for maybe 40 or something with Lugia. But as long as even if you're putting on the smallest amount of pressure, if you've got item lock in play and they can't set up, that usually just wins you the game sometimes. Then we play a 4/4/4 Decidueye GX line. This guy has 240 HP. This is a huge amount of HP. He has a stage 2, obviously, and then his ability, Feather Arrow. Once during your turn, before you attack, you may put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. Razor Leaf, a grass and a double colorless, is 90 damage, and then Hollow Hunt GX, 1 grass energy. Put 3 cards from your discard pile into your hand. This is good, later in the game if you need to get back resources like double colorless energies to be able to attack. Maybe you need a Lysander to Lysander something active and maybe stall them, or maybe you're just trying to take a knockout on something they retreated that you've been putting a ton of damage on. Just plenty of options with Hollow Hunt GX, be able to get things back from your discard. But the main thing obviously is Feather Arrow, being able to ping for 20, and then if you have 2 in play, 40, 60 with 3. If you get 4, which is, I don't think that's super usual to get all 4 set up, but if you do, pinging for 80 damage with these guys is really good. So definitely a great partner for Vileplume, I think. Yeah, so Decidueye GX, definitely great partner with Vileplume. Jirachi, now this card is interchangeable. I think you can switch this to other things like we'll just go over what Jirachi does first. So Jirachi is Stardust for 1 colorless energy, 10 damage, discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. If you do, prevent all effects of attacks, including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. So if you're playing against Mega Rayquaza, you can take a DCE off and then be immune for a turn. If you're playing against Mega Mewtwo, you can do the same thing. Anything that runs special energy, you can just take the special energy off and then have a turn where you can't be attacked. As long as they don't have like Lysander or Escape Rope or something like that, you'll be safe. But this is interchangeable. I've seen some people play it with different cards. Like we'll take a look at a couple techs like Beedrill, EX. This one is people will put this in for Double Scrapper. Discard up to 2 Pokemon tool cards from your opponent's Pokemon. So if there is a lot of Garbodor in your meta, you maybe want to use this guy so that you can take the damage counters off. I mean, not damage counters. You can take the tools like Floatstone or whatever they have on their Garbodor. You can take it off so that way they're still item locked and whatnot. There's other things that people put in. There's like a Cinccino that has the same like tool scrapper effect basically, but just for 1 tool instead of 2. But it's not an EX, so they don't take 2 prizes if they knock it out. There's also a Meowth that people have been using. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I think it just does like 20 damage to like the bench. So you can throw 20 on a Garbodor, and then if you have a Lysander in hand, you can bring it up and then like, you know, swing on it for the knockout. I'm pretty sure that's what it does. I could be totally wrong. I haven't really like looked at it too much, but there's a lot of different cards you can swap the Jirachi out for. Beedrill being, I think, the main other option, maybe Cinccino, if you're afraid of them, you know, taking up too many EXs and whatnot in this deck and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so that's all of the Pokemon in this list. Then pretty much everything else is pretty normal for Vileplume. 3 Level Ball. Get your Oddish, Gloom, Rowlet, and Dartrix out. 2 Revitalizer seems good because it's mostly grass. 4 Trainer's Mail for consistency. 4 Ultra Ball for, you know, consistency. Everything is Ultra Ball searchable for sure. I mean, thin your hand down to be able to draw more with your Shamans. And then we play 4 Forest of Giant Plants. You need to play 4 because you need to get turn 1. You really are trying to get as many Decidueye set up as possible. And you kind of would like to get a turn 1 Vileplume, so definitely need to play Forest of Giant Plants. 2 Lysander, so you can Lysander up targets. Like if you're trying to take a knockout on something, you've maybe been pinging with damage for a little bit, you can bring it up and take a knockout on it with a bigger attack. Then play 3 N and 4 Sycamore, pretty standard draw support line, and shuffle both your hands back into your deck. Draw the number of cards for remaining prize cards. So good disruption if you're, you know, down on prizes in the game. Yeah. And then Sycamore, discard your hand, draw 7. Just the best, you know, draw supporter in the game that we have currently. 2 Floatstone. You usually want to get that on. You usually want to get one on an Oddish, like right as soon as you grab that card. Obviously good for other things to give them free retreat, like Decidueye and whatnot. But yeah, they're mainly for giving your Vileplume free retreat, so you don't get stalled out with that 3 retreat cost. Then we play 4 double colorless energy, 4 grass energy. That seems fine. There's just 4 Decidueyes that you'd attach grass to. You can only play 4 double colorless. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much the list. Again, this is just John Kettler's list that he played at Anaheim. I'm pretty much just testing out different kinds of decks. Not like super like teched out for any specific meta or anything, I don't think. Just kind of deciding what I feel like I might want to play, and I figured this would be a good one to go over, just because, you know, there will be Decidueye at upcoming League Cups for sure. Decidueye Vileplume decks will be there. So yeah, good coverage for this list for maybe anybody that's thinking about playing it or worried about playing against it. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much the list, guys, and we're going to get into a game with this one and see how it does. Alright, so we got a game against Grown Monta. So looks like he's calling the flip. We lost, so he's probably gonna, he's gonna go first. Alright, so our hand doesn't look too bad here. We have a Rowlet to start with, so we don't have to, you know, be worried about getting Vileplume lock with Rowlet and not, with you know, an Oddish in the active and not hitting a Floatstone or something. So we've got a draw supporter for turn, Trainer's Mail, Grass Energy, so we've already got Forest in hand, so it doesn't seem like a bad hand at all. So our opponent is playing Lycanroc, it looks like. So he gets a fighting energy down, plays an Ultra Ball, and he will grab an Eevee. So I assume he's definitely going to start trying to dig for Flareon. That way his Lycanroc will be able to, attack us for weakness, for fire weakness and whatnot. Then he could also potentially get a Jolteon down as well to attack our Lugia for weakness. So that could be trouble if he does get a good setup here. So he'll get an Oranguru and Instruct with it. Grabbing 3 cards, gets a Sycamore, so seems pretty good for him. He'll be able to draw 7 more cards now. And he gets another Rockruff, another Rockruff, and a pass. So we top deck an N. So we're going to go ahead and play the Forest and the Trainer's Mail. Looks like we're going to get Ultra Ball. And we're going to Ultra Ball. Definitely get rid of an N. Probably the other N too. Just so that way we can Sycamore, get max draw power here. So, and it looks like we're going to take a Shaman. Probably attach the Grass, yeah. And then we will set up for 4. So, here we get a Floatstone. Debating on if we really want to play Shaman just to draw 2 cards. And I think we're going to do it, yeah. So, we'll draw 2 cards with Shaman. Grab a Lysander, pretty trash, but I mean at least we dug through more of the deck. So we'll play another Sycamore. And an Oddish, put down a Gloom. Looks like we're in a Level Ball, probably for a Rowlet, I'm assuming. And we didn't search our whole deck the first time, so we're just going to go through really quick and see what we have left. And it looks like we've got good counts of everything for the most part. And yeah, so we'll grab a Dartrix. And we will be able to evolve right away, like we did with the Gloom, since we have the Forest. And here, basically, kind of thinking about Ultra Ball for another Shaman. And we are going to do it. This is kind of an aggressive play, but I felt pretty comfortable since we are playing against something that is weak to us. So we do set up, we get another Rowlet, and a Dartrix, and a Decidueye. So definitely glad I did do the Shaman play. So we get the turn 1 item lock as well. We'll put down 2 damage counters, and let's see what we're going to put them at. A Oranguru, and that seems fine to me. We don't really need to Hollow Hunt for anything this early on, so we're just going to pass the turn over to him, and yeah. So definitely a good first turn, I think. We do have 3 Shaman on the board, which isn't, good, really. Like, you don't want to have all your Shamans down, just because they're easy Lysander targets for 2 prize cards. But I think we are going to actually Sky Return to pick one up this turn. So we'll attach the DCE to Shaman, we'll Sycamore, and we didn't get the other Decidueye GX, which kind of sucks, but it's not terrible. We're still not in like a bad position or anything. I am getting a little bit scared of this Lycanroc though. If it gets 1 more energy, it can Lycanfang GX us for at least 220 because of the strong energy. But it looks like we're going to retreat to Shaman, Sky Return, and we're debating on putting Decidueye up there, but again, I am scared of that Lycanfang GX. I don't want to get, Dartrix knocked out right now. So I felt the right move was Shaman, just because it's not a super crucial card. It is 2 prize cards, pretty easy 2 prize cards, but we definitely need to keep both, our Dartrix, Decidueye, and Vileplume. So I feel like Shaman is just fine to give him something to knock out this turn if he does have another energy in hand to do so. But yeah, looks like our opponent is still thinking about what they want to do. I'm assuming they probably have a lot of items in hand, and they do have the other energy, so definitely glad we didn't put, one of our other Pokemon that is more of a necessity in harm's way. So he will take 2 prize cards here, and we'll promote Decidueye GX. It does have a Floatstone, so that's fine. We'll put down a Lugia, which is good. It's got a resistance to fighting, so seems fine to me. Now the thing is, it can still Lycanfang GX the Lugia for the knockout, doing 200 damage with the strong energy and resistance. So still pretty scared of this thing, but we do have a Lysander in hand, so we can maybe try to stall something up. So we'll go ahead and put 20 more on that Eevee, so we will be able to knock it out the next turn. And right now, I think we're just trying to think of what probably has like the most retreat cost. Sorry, not Harambe, Oranguru has 2 retreat, so I don't think he plays double colorless. Because he's playing Lycanroc, he probably is just playing, you know, straight just fighting and strong energy, so he won't be able to just attach and retreat in 1 turn with a 2 retreat cost Pokemon active. So we'll Lysander him and then do 40 to it, and he will put down a Parallel City, so we'll just go ahead and drop that Shaman and probably the Rowlet. I think we'll be fine to have 2 Decidueye here, and I'm sure eventually we'll probably hit like another forest and be able to get maybe another Decidueye set up. So yeah, it looks like he'll Sycamore, bench an Oranguru, and then pass. So we have a Grass Energy in hand. We can already take a knockout with the, or actually no, Aeroball wouldn't knock it out. It would only do 40 to it, and he does have 60 on him. Now we could have Feather Arrowed it, but I want to keep it trapped active for a little bit longer. Because I'm not quite at the setup that I want to be at to just knock something out and then have him retaliate with a Lycanfang GX to knock out our Lugia. So we're going to leave Oranguru active for a little bit and probably whittle down some more of his bench while, you know, they're all stuck behind Oranguru. And hopefully we can hit another Decidueye GX soon to be able to, you know, start pinging a little bit more damage counters, get 40 on the board each turn. Now he does Lysander our Vileplume, which is pretty bad because we didn't get Floatstone on it turn 1, and it has a 3 retreat cost. So we're just going to play an end here. We do get a Decidueye GX, so that seems good. We'll be able to put down 4 damage counters now, so we can take the knockout on the Eevee this turn, and we will also be able to, you know, put 20 more on another benched Pokemon. And I think Rockruff is a good choice here to put 20 damage counters on. That way if we want to knock one out next turn, we can. With both Decidueye, we will be able to, you know, take another knockout with that. Or if we want to just like spread stuff around a little bit more. So we'll put 20 more on that Rockruff, and I guess we're going to go ahead and knock out this Rockruff here. And now we're down to 2 prize cards, so we're tied up in the prize trade here, so not looking too bad, to be honest. Even though we do have a Vileplume stuck active, they also have an Oranguru stuck active. They do have an energy on it already, so they can attach 1 more and retreat this turn, but they didn't. So they're going to go ahead and pass to us. We're going to put, you know, probably 20 on each, you know, the Eevee and the Rockruff. That way next turn we can knock out whichever one we want. And we did that just because, you know, if he evolves one of them and not the other, then we can still take a prize that turn. So the immediate one we definitely want to go for is the Rockruff. We don't want him to have attackers this game. So we'll knock that out and pass. And we're not even doing damage with attacks. We're just taking prize cards with the abilities. So it looks like this turn we're going to go down to 2 prize cards. Still not attacking. Just stalling this Oranguru active and just, you know, sniping stuff out with the Decidueye. So even though we have a Vileplume stuck active, because they're item locked, they aren't able to get a setup. They're not able to retreat and, you know, take knockouts themselves. So we're honestly fine right now just to be able to ping stuff off the bench. And it looks like he didn't get anything off that N either. So kind of like I said in the deck profile, you can honestly just take games by item locking them. Item lock is so powerful. Most of the cards in most every deck are items. So item lock is, yeah, it's just super powerful in the current format. Like I have said already a couple times, Vileplume just kind of takes games itself. And the fact that we can also, like, even having Vileplume trapped active, we were still able to take 4 prize cards, just sniping stuff off of his bench. So, yeah, once it got to that point, he didn't really see a way that he could win. We were just going to keep sniping stuff off the bench. Eventually, like, we could have probably, you know, sniped out the benched Oranguru, taking out the active with an attack from Lugia if he did knock out our Vileplume. But yeah, guys, that's the deck. Definitely want to keep an eye out for it. League Cups coming up. So if you guys are deciding to play it, or if you guys are worried about playing against it, I hope this video helped you out with learning how the deck works and everything like that. This was John Kettler's list again, so if you guys would maybe make any other changes, other suggestions for this list, let us know in the comments for sure. Be sure to like and subscribe and whatnot. Also, check out our merch at rarecandytcg.com. It'd really help us out a lot if you guys support the channel by picking up a playmat or a dice bag or something. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you in the next one.